Thomas here with another version of Facebook Live, and some, just there's an infinite number of fantastic concepts and topics that we can talk about, and which is what's great about this media. I get to actually connect with you directly, and we can really share this. And so this is actually what we're going to talk about. So wait till everybody kind of comes on here. Hey Sabrina, hey Francesca, and Trish and Christine. All right, nice. Well, everybody's coming on there. Hey Anna, Amy. So this is all good. Everybody's coming on. Just if ever there's a problem with sound or anything, just type in, hey, I'm not hearing you very well, or I don't know what I do about it. Maybe I'd unplug my headset and try a different something. So anyway, I guess I don't need to be listening in. But so today is a talk about online spiritual training, how to get the most out of it. And also, does it really work, and how does it work, and where does it fit into a full spiritual lifestyle, so I don't even have my my cell phone here. Marcelo, can you grab me my cell phone? Thank you. So these things right here have changed everything. Obviously, what I'm on right now is my PC, and that started the revolution. And now basically you have a PC in your hand, and so both this PC and this handheld are connected to an infinite amount of information, which is very similar to what happens when you open your seventh chakra, right? Okay, so spiritually, the internet is like you're opening energetically in the world. Everything is one thing, right? So we have these different qualities within us that are we've got our body, which is our hardware, and our soul, which is our hard drive, and then we have our programs, our software programs on that hard drive, which are all whether we were programmed to be who we really are, which is our core life purpose profile. And so if you were programmed for that, you're an incredibly happy person and fulfilled. And when you're not happy or you're not fulfilled, then you really don't have any idea who you are, right? Okay, so, and that means that you had hackers install on you software that didn't belong, like your parents might have been hackers, and they were like, well, little boys behave like this, and little girls behave like this, and we have this religion, and we have, this is the way, this is what good people do, and this is what bad people do. And all of those programs, even though those hackers meant them in a nice way, that was actually malware. That's bad stuff. They're draining you of your energy. And so one of the things that we do, and even before all of this, those behaviors in our lives would program us, and then we needed to go to some place or get a book. And so a book was the first internet, right? So the first internet was the book. And people would buy the book, and you still hear people say, you don't hear this as much because they say, I got the Kindle of that or something. But people would say, oh my God, I'm having this issue, so I bought the book on that. I needed to learn about my inner self. I bought the book on that. I wanted to find out who I was. I wanted to learn how to cook better. I wanted to learn how to, and so people would buy a book, right? Okay, and my book is Discover Your Purpose. You go to discoveryourpurposebook.com. If you haven't bought it yet and you aren't completely sure who you really are, that's where you start right there. So basically that then expanded into the internet and online, and being able to access even broader information instantly, right? And so this now is actually the spiritual awakening. So just like we had this spiritual sort of like calling to sort of like, I need to find out more information, I get a book. And did a book ever, I mean, how many, let me just have on here, let's have everybody check in on your favorite book, right? What's your favorite book? If this isn't it, maybe this is your favorite book. What's your favorite book that changed your life, and how did it change your life? So write in there, favorite book. Forget favorite online program you've taken. We're going to talk about that in just a second. But what book, which is kind of like the internet before the internet, that was where someone was thinking, hey, I got this really cool thing, and I'd like to get it out to more than just me. So if I write it down, and then I make a bunch of copies of am I back? I think I'm back. Okay. So I was saying that and then there were marketers that decided, hey, if we distribute these books, we can help this person get their message out there, and that is its person's. And obviously, if they didn't write it just for money, they wrote it because they were trying to get a message out there. That is like guidance that you're getting from the universe. And so you're walking through a bookstore and you see, oh my God, that's my problem. I don't know I don't know what my life purpose is. I don't know, what it is, or I don't know how to meditate. So products. So these products became this connection for us, and we've been brought up on being able to transform ourselves and open our seventh chakra and connect with this new information. Well, now the internet has taken that to the extreme, right? So now you don't just have a book. You've got every book that's ever been written, okay? And of course, we also would then go to take classes on things because you had to go to school, or you had to take a class somewhere, you had to go to a guru, or you had to learn yoga, or you had to do something with a person to be able to actually do it. I was learning martial arts. It's pretty hard to do, on your own. You had to go to a teacher to teach you that, and that's been the system all the way along. Now the problem is that we've been taught that you can learn everything on these because they not only have the words, but they have the videos and they have things you can do, and it's very, very true. So did anybody write in about their book? Dark Side of the Light Chasers. Nice, Barry. That one, that's a life changer. Now, how did it change your life? Favorite book, Power of Positive Thinking, fell off the bookshelf. Nice. Finally, I know who and what I am. My book. So she read my book. Anna read my book and totally knows who she is. Read my book 3 times, and it is totally something that you don't get it in one reading. Even though you'll understand yourself a lot more. So TrueCL, hello, joined. Okay. Anybody else? What else have you got? What books have changed your life? And I had a couple of Wayne Dyer books that I read, and as much as I didn't think Wayne Dyer was a very good author, what he put in those books was his spiritual mission. And so can you learn from those things? Yes, for sure. And that's where we're gonna start here with this discussion. So the question isn't, can you learn things online, or can you learn things from a book, or can you learn things while you're sitting in your room like I am right now? I can learn things from reading what you all are saying and sort of pick up on those things. But the question isn't can you learn from that, but can it actually reach that level of spiritual transformation that which ultimately means that you've changed permanently. Okay, so this is the tough one, and it's not that for those who don't know me, my name is Rhys Thomas, and I run the Rhys Thomas Institute of Energy Medicine, and it is a in-person program that meets 5 weekends a year, and on those weekends, we go incredibly deep into all of the interactive types of things you have to do to change your life. Changing your life it's got to be literally a change of behavior. And we'll talk about why we have to do it in person, face to face. But keep in mind that we use online preparation to do in-person training. So the truth is that if you've never, in the martial arts, if you've never punched a punching bag or grabbed a hold of somebody and found out that they don't just fly in the air, they don't just like leap in there like in the movies where you're just going to go, whoa, swing. They don't do that. They actually have a life of their own. They actually don't want to interact with you that way. They actually are your problem in life. So your life problems aren't here on the inside, even though we have to deal with all the inside issues. The life that we need to live is on the outside. So there's this combination of we need to read an amazing book, we need to get online and take an online awakening course, something that awakes us up to what we're doing. And by the way, those of you that have read my book, Discover Your Purpose, are going to love that I actually have a online training in actually not exactly in that book, but in the profiles, and it's a foundational piece that I do called The Missing Piece, and it's like the next sort of like after you've read the book, then you've got to do something more, so that's more interactive, and eventually, I can tell you that everything that I teach has to eventually meet face to face, meet toe to toe, the road, and when you are thinking about doing any kind of online work, and I just looked up before I did this, I just looked up that this is just in regular learning. So just in regular learning in the United States alone, 5.8 million people are turning to online learning as opposed to in-person learning. And so now we add all of these, coaching programs and health programs and these types of things and programs that you can sign up for. My Coming Profile program online. These are all things. So 20 million people or more are now turning to this. Eventually, the foundation of learning will come from your online interactions, and should. Just here, I'm about to do this. I totally understand this concept. I teach this in the school, and having people find a balance between their internal spiritual practice and their external spiritual practice, and understanding that you can't do one without the other. If you're only doing external spiritual practice, I'm just learning martial arts, and I'm not doing the meditation, the internal work, and the understanding of what even a chakra is. It's like if you can't get with somebody and have them say, okay, when you are punching, you are working from this area and from that area, so these are the energies that are working. And so you're understanding, oh my God, so when I'm doing these martial arts and I'm punching and I'm doing, it's like I'm now moving this energy body that I can become conscious of by bringing my attention to it. So online training is amazing if it's bringing your attention to something that you weren't paying attention to. And it's smart enough that it's not making you dumber by doing it, right? So often we're done with something and we're like, what just happened? What is even going on? Something intelligent is going to bring your attention to something that gets you to the next level. And so this is, so if you're coming into my program, first of all, you will totally understand what makes a chakra tick, how to keep them open, how to keep them alive, what yours are actually here for, and what they're not here for, what you have a chakra for, and what you don't have a chakra for. And you stop pretending that you can force your chakras into doing what you want them to do. They're here to guide you. They're literally like the magnet in your life. And then then I can teach you how to understand that there are 3 points of your purpose. So there's literally a line going through your body, a line between heaven and earth, and there's a contract in there. 3 contracts. One is the physical contract you have, one is the spiritual contract you have, and one is the contract to actually understand it in this lifetime. So now that's an awareness that would help no matter what you're doing in your life, right? So you need that spiritual awareness. And I can deliver that to you and do with the students when they get in the program. They take a summer teleclass. It's an online thing. We ask questions. We do, so there's interaction, but there's all that. And then they read things and they do that. And that's no different than going online and finding something, it's just more structured, because everything that we do in this year-long program, which then has 3 segments, there's 3 years in the program, every second of it, every piece of it dovetails onto the next, with the ending result, which is at the getting a certificate at the end of 3 years, as energy healer. And when you are when you want to learn something, you need both. You need the structure, you need the mind, and that all, of course, sources from the soul energy, which gives you this pure life force, and that energy goes through the purpose, which goes into the chakras, and then into your life. Okay, so you can learn all about the chakras. You can learn all about body positions and things like that online. You can learn about all these ideas, but why do you need them? So what was it? So who else? So The Alchemist. Okay, great book, The Alchemist. So answer this question. What was it? And if that book really changed your life, it's permanent, right? If you really, a spiritual awakening is not that door opens, you can't close that door, right? So what online work or book or anything that was really an outside thing, an outside energy that comes into you, and this device is just like some kind of, whether it be video or whether it be written words or little tidbits or Facebook Lives, whatever it is, these are waking you up. And what one thing woke you up permanently in your life? So write that in, just anything. What changed? And then tell me what the change was. What was the one thing that you changed by doing that? Okay, I know this is hard. This is where you then. So by the way, this is spiritual work, right? It isn't just learning stuff. I could tell you all about how you learn, how you can, get the pick of the right teacher and do this. But this is it. You already picked your teacher today. This is your teacher. I'm your teacher. I'm your spiritual master. I'm your spiritual guide. Okay, and my ideas are here, and my voice and my vibration, everything about me, my presence, everything is asking you to step up to the next level. Okay, and this may be the thing that heals you. It may remind you that you're so much more, that you can do so much more. Okay, so EFT tapping, and what did it? How? So what part of your life did it change? Right? What part of your life did it change permanently? Anybody? Come on, everybody! You got stuff. I mean, this is the part where the interactive part. So we're kind of face to face right now. So this is pretty close to being in person, and it's closer than my whole life. Okay, my direction in life confirmed me who I am. Very hard. So what was it? So what type of thing? Like, what have you? So where are you? Let me ask you this. So why did? All right. So why did you get into spiritual work to begin with? Because your life was so good. Anybody? Why did you start looking for more when you had everything, right? So what were you doing? Book showed me to be more accepting of my shadow and less judgmental of others. Okay, so Barry, thank you. So Barry had the Dark Side of Light Chasers, and it helped her understand and be more accepting. So now, Barry, here's the big question. Depression. Okay, so yes. So you had so your depression brought you to that, or your inability to connect with people, or something. Universal language is real. Praying attention to the signs. Everything getting clearer each day. So what you read led to seeing the synchronicities in life. Okay, so that's a huge life change. So here's the crux of what we're getting at here. All of these things, and even what we're talking about here. No, doctor, can you help me? Okay. Makes me help others with what I know. Okay, good. All right. So here's the deal. Very simply, Wayne Dyer, who was actually one of my first big books, he always said, when I what does he say? When I hear, I forget. When I see, I remember. When I do, I understand. And so everything that you do online is hearing and seeing and hearing, right? And so you can remember that stuff, but it isn't until you do something with it specifically that it makes a big difference. And so this is why the way I run the Rhys Thomas Institute is a combination of both very intense reading dynamics, so you're prepared for the weekend. If you just come into a weekend workshop and you're totally like, well, whatever you've been doing, and then you get all this information and you have this experience and then you walk out, it's like, wow, so you have this experience and it's like, then you have to process for months, and it only lasts for, usually a couple of weeks before you kind of go back to your old pattern. But if you were already prepared for what you were about to get on that weekend, right, it would sink a lot more. And here's the real crux of the problem. You went into spiritual work, pulling your own strings. Okay, nice. So you went into spiritual work not because of the fact that you pulled the visionary tarot card, right? Or the visionary, this is the archetype card. Or you didn't pull the, here we go, the oppression tarot card, right? You didn't pull that. You didn't pull that card. That wasn't why you went into it. You went into it because you had a problem with people. Period. You went into spirituality because you had a problem with people. And you were getting more and more isolated. And you were realizing that life was safer by going more into this than into that. So here's our issue. One, online training is fantastic because you can, just like I'm doing right now, you can get information that you would never, ever have been able to get before, okay, without stumbling onto something, right? But the problem is, until you apply it directly with a person, a human being, in person, you can yell at me right now and say, Rhys, I can tell you and blah, 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 and you can, and I love you, or whatever your issue is, you can say it to me right now, and it won't do anything until you actually do it with a person. This is their problem. This is the problem. And so much of life for the business owners, it's so much easier. My life would be infinitely more easy if I closed my school and took all my information and just made all online programs, right? They could just be, constantly just, people would take them and then they take the next one, they take the next one, they would lead to this, and then they get the little certificate, and I would never ever have to deal with them other than doing that and putting my energy into that online program. The problem is that that's not how people actually change. They just become people that learn and learn and learn and learn and learn and stay stuck in their lives. To really change, you have to take what you've learned and you have to apply it to the thing that's the most problem for you, which are people. Your mom, your dad, your kids, your boyfriend, your spouse, your boss, your health, your career, right? These are the issues you have in your life. And so it's really important to get that, yes, online training is spectacular and you've got so much, but don't ever forget that it's the in-person thing that you do that actually makes the permanent change. When you can stand in front of a person, let's say you were bullied, okay, let's say one of your parents was a bit of a bully, let's say you were pushed around or you were told what to do, and for the first time ever, you stand in front of another person who holds that same energy, because when you come to the school, we have over 100 people in there. There's going to be a lot of people that carry different types of energy, and you can stand with that person and say, you know what? You no longer have power over my choices. I make my choices. And when you start doing that, and you have the ability face-to-face, toe-to-toe with another human being, which is where you got wounded to begin with, I can tell you for absolute certain that none of you have a wound that doesn't have a person's face on it. Even if it were a car accident, the car hit you, The person who was driving the car, that person's face, that person's intention, your belief about whether they meant to do it or not, what was going on, why were they drunk, and what was how were responsible, and what, or God's face is on it. Whatever you're doing, there's a face on it. And when you do your spiritual work, if you don't then go somewhere, meet people that can speak that language. Because when I teach you this, so here, I'm teach you a new language right now. This point right here is called the physical life purpose point. Okay, that's a new language for you. Now, if you go and talk to your boss and say, well, I really can't do this anymore because at the physical life purpose, I don't actually have the skills for this. They will fire you because you're crazy. On the other hand, if you find a community that speaks that language and lets you work through that type of awareness and focus and attention, with that, you expand your ability to understand it. And they are actually working that through with you. Because your boss has got the same issue, but he doesn't understand the language. So spirituality online gives you an incredible language. So many people know so much about spirituality, and yet they miss the final piece. If you don't get involved in a training that specifically walks you step by step by step through how do you apply that to your life, not to just generally, if I say this to somebody, then that'll be, okay, hard work is forgiveness. I forgive you. I forgive you. I forgive you. I forgive you. Oh, and I forgive you. And I so forgive you. I'm so spiritual now. I'm getting so spiritual. I've said it 1,000 times. I forgive you. I forgive you. I forgive you. And not once did you forgive anybody because you don't understand what forgiveness feels like. And until you're with someone else who can say, you said forgiveness to me, but you don't forgive me at all. Now you're working it through. Now you have to honor that this idea of forgiveness isn't what forgiveness is at all, right? Forgiveness, when you forgive somebody, you would never say, I forgive you. You just don't hate them anymore. You don't hold your energy back from them anymore. You are totally alive. Nothing shrinks when you're around that person. That's what forgiveness is. But you can't learn to do that unless you're in the presence of another person that allows you to play through that energy. Okay, so what have I got for you? Well, I've got the school, and you can totally sign up for that, but it's much easier. First step is Insight. I have an event that's in person. So no matter what you've done, no matter you've seen me on this, and if you've seen me on this and you've listened to me for the last, 20 or 30 Facebook Lives that I've done, you've got an infinite amount of information right now, right? Now, what are you going to do with it? Who else do you know that speaks this language? You've got to come and you've got to be around people, my teachers, my students, which will all be there at Insight. Insight is September 24th from 12 to 6. It's really, I mean, it's not a half day, but it's like 6 hours of connecting, speaking this way, feeling this way, interacting with each other, getting healed, healing others, meditating, and so this is another product. A meditation is a product that you can get, and it's the next step, right? Because it forces you to do something. But when you're meditating, right, you're in your own world still, right? And you can totally transform that. But after you meditate, and after this one is the wisdom guide meditation. So after you talk to your guide, you do that, you go to my website, you get that, and you can actually talk to your guide. Now, your guide has never told you one thing that wasn't about going and dealing with a relationship in some way. So, is online work essential? Absolutely. I mean, where would any of us be if we weren't online? And if you're not online with your material, you're not giving people the entry point into what you actually do. But what you actually do is not online, and it won't ever ultimately lead to enlightenment. Enlightenment comes in the stepping into your life and actually making permanent change in how you interact with people, how you choose your career, how you deal with your health and hold your energy and hold your shoulders back and your face open and smile, right? Permanent change. Permanent change happens when you're willing to take all you learn spiritually and apply it to your relationships, to your life, to your health. Yes? And it's really, really hard to do because our habits are hardwired, ingrained, okay, to do what we do in our lives. No matter how much you're doing spiritually, if when you're done doing it, it's not making you go, okay, next thing, this is it. I haven't talked to my, brother, cousin, I haven't talked to my boss. I need to work through this. And as you work through it, you discover who you are. You don't discover who you are until you test your theory on who you are with other people. Because amazingly, they're really good at pointing out how that's not actually true. And then you have to then go back and go, okay, if that's not true, what is it that I'm feeling? How is this the truth? Because when you speak your truth, other people are going to go, oh, that's true. And that's really true. And that's when you are in that permanent shift where you have become what you've always wanted to be, right? Okay, all right. So insightliveevent.com. You can sign up today. I highly recommend it because I didn't get a huge room this time. This is just it's a one-day thing. All the students are going to be there, and that will be, that's 100 people in the room already, and maybe we can take 200 or 180, 190. So I'm not making a huge event here, but if you are planning on doing this, you can either do it online. If you absolutely can't come, you can do it online. But then if you do it online, you watch the live stream of it, make sure that the things that we ask you to do, you then apply directly with people. So maybe watch it with somebody or with a group of people so that when we do the exercises, you're beginning that process of working life through. Because life is to be worked through. It can't just be processed in your head. Even though processing your head is a good place to start, it wakes you up and says, wow, there's something else. But now the something else is the interaction. So if you want to get out of your comfort zone and get into that relationship with people that actually speak this language, come to Insight on September 24th. We'll have an amazing time. And if you're just like, hey, I'm ready to go, you can sign up for the Rhys Thomas Institute and go to rhysThomasinstitute.com and you can check that out. And we'll get back to you, and because class is starting in October. So I will talk to everybody soon. Bye.